CM Punk targets Jey Uso. Jey's toughest title defense. Punk vs. Jey Uso gets personal. Jey Uso faces CM Punk chaos. CM Punk's mind games begin. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. What happens when the most emotional champion in WWE walks into a title defense carrying the weight of an entire family on his back, and standing across from him is a man who's spent 20 years learning how to weaponize pain? And seriously, are we absolutely sure CM Punk is fighting Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship because he respects him? Or is this another one of those moments where Punk smiles at you while secretly planning your funeral 3 weeks in advance? Because the closer this match gets, the weirder the energy becomes. Jey Uso defending the world title against CM Punk sounds exciting on paper. It sounds like one of those dream matches fans fantasy book at 2 a.m. while arguing online with strangers who still somehow think every problem in wrestling can be solved with a steel cage match. But when you actually stop and look at these two guys, this thing feels dangerous. Not dangerous in the someone's jumping off a ladder through flaming tables kind of way either. WWE does enough of that already. I'm talking emotionally dangerous. Mentally dangerous. The kind of match where one mistake changes the direction of an entire career. Because Jey Uso isn't just defending a championship here. He's defending the identity he fought years to build. And CM Punk? Punk walks into these situations like a guy who already knows the ending before everybody else does. That's what makes this so unsettling. See, Jey's entire rise to the top has been built on survival. People forget that. They act like he suddenly became world champion overnight because fans started yelling "YET" louder than usual. No. This story started years ago when he was trapped inside Roman Reigns' shadow. Back then, Jey Uso looked exhausted. Not physically. Spiritually. Like somebody trying to smile while carrying bricks on his back. Every Bloodline segment felt like watching a man slowly lose pieces of himself in public. Roman controlled everything. Paul Heyman manipulated everybody. Jimmy kept getting pulled back into the chaos. Solo showed up looking like he was sent from the future to end civilizations. And Jey? Jey was stuck in the middle trying to hold the family together while also trying not to drown himself. And somehow, that made fans love him even more. Because people connect with fighters who look tired but keep swinging anyway. That's why his world title reign feels different. Jey doesn't walk around acting untouchable. He doesn't carry himself like some corporate superhero smiling in every backstage interview. He feels human. Emotional. Sometimes even insecure. And honestly, that makes him way more interesting than half the roster. But CM Punk sees that too. That's the scary part. Punk has always been brilliant at finding emotional cracks in people. He studies opponents like a lawyer preparing cross-examination notes. He listens carefully. Watches body language. Pays attention to insecurities. Then he slowly starts pressing buttons until the other guy completely loses control. We've seen it for years. And lately? Punk's been acting way too calm. That usually means trouble. Because when CM Punk gets loud, at least you know what he's thinking. When he gets quiet? That's when he becomes terrifying. Look at the way he's been talking about Jey Uso recently. There's almost too much respect there. It feels deliberate. Like Punk wants Jey comfortable. Relaxed. Maybe even emotional enough to make mistakes. And Jey is emotional. That's both his greatest strength and biggest weakness. The fans love him because he wears his heart on his sleeve. But in a world title match against CM Punk? Emotion can get you killed. Not literally, obviously. Relax. Although honestly, wrestling fans online sometimes react to title changes like ancient kingdoms collapsing. You'd think somebody cancelled oxygen itself. But seriously. Punk knows how to turn emotion into chaos. And this match has chaos written all over it. You can already picture the atmosphere. The crowd split straight down the middle. One side screaming YET every 5 seconds. The other side chanting for Punk like it's 2011 all over again. Commentary trying to sound professional while secretly panicking because the building is one loud argument away from exploding. That environment changes people. Especially champions. Because now Jey isn't just fighting Punk. He's fighting expectations. Think about how fast everything changed for him. A few years ago, people mainly saw him as part of a tag team. A legendary tag team, yes, but still a tag wrestler. Now he's carrying the biggest prize on his shoulder while defending it against one of the most psychologically dangerous stars WWE has ever had. That pressure is real. And CM Punk knows exactly how to amplify it. You know what's funny? Punk actually thrives in uncomfortable situations. The more tense things become, the more focused he gets. It's honestly kind of concerning. Like the guy feeds off awkwardness. Most people hear boos and pressure and start panicking. Punk hears chaos and suddenly starts wrestling better. That's why this match feels less like a normal title defense and more like a psychological trap. Because Punk doesn't need to overpower Jey physically. He just needs Jey doubting himself for 5 seconds. That's all it takes. One hesitation. One emotional reaction. One moment where Jey starts fighting angry instead of smart. And suddenly Punk controls the whole match. Now to be fair, Jey Uso is not some clueless underdog anymore. People still underestimate how tough this guy actually is. You don't survive Roman Reigns, bloodline wars, betrayal after betrayal, family drama, and years of pressure without becoming mentally stronger. Jey's dangerous too. Very dangerous. Because unlike a lot of babyfaces, Jey fights like somebody who genuinely has something to prove every single night. There's desperation in his offense sometimes. A kind of emotional violence that makes matches feel real. When Jey hits a superkick, it doesn't feel rehearsed. It feels personal. And if Punk pushes the wrong button? This could turn ugly fast. That's another thing nobody's talking about enough. CM Punk has a habit of bringing out darker versions of people. Opponents stop wrestling their normal style against him. They start trying to hurt him. They get frustrated. They lose patience. Suddenly the match becomes emotional warfare instead of strategy. And honestly, that may be exactly what Punk wants here. Because if this becomes a clean wrestling contest, Jey has a real chance to overpower him emotionally and physically. The crowd energy alone could carry Jey into another level. But if Punk slows the pace down, if he starts talking trash, if he starts targeting the ribs, the knee, the neck, if he starts forcing Jey to think instead of react. Now we're in CM Punk territory. That's where things become terrifying. And can we talk about the possibility of outside drama for a second? Because come on. This is WWE. Peace lasts approximately 7 minutes before somebody's music hits unexpectedly. You really think a world title match involving Jey Uso is guaranteed to stay simple? Absolutely not. There's too much history attached to this guy. The bloodline shadow never fully disappears. Jimmy Uso always feels one emotional moment away from chaos. Solo Sikoa showing up anywhere automatically increases the danger level by like 400%. Roman Reigns lurking somewhere in the background still feels possible at any moment. And Punk? Punk attracts drama.